Bet horse racing on DRF Bets. We'll match your first deposit up to $250. Get free expert picks and past performances, plus weekly cash back, all from Daily Racing Form, the most trusted name in horse racing. This is DRF Race of the Day. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beard, the DRF Race of the Day for Sunday, May the 9th. Race number 8 at Belmont Park. Let's throw up the field for the Gold Fever Stakes. It's $100 grander for 3-year-olds going 3/4 of a mile. And you can download free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with us. The 6 Candyman Rocket's getting the turn back in distance I believe he needs, Mike. But his recent form is suspect, to say the least, and he's 8-5 on David Aragona's morning line.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I guess cutting back could really work for this horse. He is already a graded stakes winner, Dan. Unceremoniously knocked off the Derby trail after 2 really poor efforts in his last 2 starts, but I guess cutting back could really work.
And he is turning way back in distance, so it'll be interesting to see where he is in the early portion of this race. Probably faster fractions than what he's seen recently. We throw up the Timeform US pace projector. Baron, the number 1, figures to be on ascend from the inside. He is a very fast horse. American Gentleman's jumping up in class, but he's a very good gate horse. I do expect those two to be out there on the lead, and Candyman Rocket might be able to ease into a stalking spot.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. It'll be interesting, I guess, to see what the 3 Roderick does. He's not a slow horse, Dan. They didn't always send him last year as a 2-year-old, but that horse has some speed.
Let's talk a little bit about Baron, a winner at Parks 2 starts back, earned a rock-solid 83 Beyer speed figure that day, and last time out in the Grade 3 Bayshore, he faced a field that's arguably better than this one. That drained the clock. He's one of the better 3-year-old dirt sprinters in the country. The runner-up Whiskey Double came back to run 3rd in the Pat Day Mile with an 83 Beyer. Baron just might have been a little bit over his head, and I like him cutting back to 6.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, listen, his wins 2 and 3 back. I thought he actually looked really good winning those races 2 and 3 back. In particular, his maiden win, Dan, back in February. I mean, that was a fast pace. This horse had no trouble keeping up with it and then just dominated that field. You know, listen, the Bayshore was a tough spot. Drain the clock was 1-5. This horse, you know, whether he was going to be effective in that race or not, he lost all chance. He stumbled very badly at the start of that race. He wound up way back off the pace. I would just throw that race out. I think he's a serious bounce back candidate in here. And I think Manny Franco should just send this horse.
A couple of horses shipping in from the Laurel circuit. The number 2 is the Wolfman, who scored last time out over Sloppy Going. Let's watch that race back on February the 28th. It's going to be 007, who's also in this field. The Wolfman broke well, just parked himself off the pace setter's hip, got the jump on 007, who's to his outside, and he holds sway. 77 Beyer speed figure for the Wolfman.
Yeah, I mean, I thought both of these 2 horses were in pretty tough in this race, Dan. I mean, they're not exactly facing a bunch of killers, but they're just not that fast. They both, you know, like to be forward in their races, and it feels like they're not the fastest early horses in this race. I just thought there was a lot working against these 2.
The 3 Roderick, I think, has a couple of excuses for his loss in the Hutchison as the odds-on favorite. He caught a wet track, and I'm not sure he really liked it. And he also got pushed on a very fast pace that day. He paid the price. That race has already produced a couple of next now winners, and the winner of that race came back to be stakes placed against Florida Breds at Tampa Bay. He can be forward under Joel Rosario, and his races last year at 2 were pretty good. 92 Beyer, 2 back as a 2-year-old. That's some running.
Yeah, he's pretty fast, this horse. He's bombed a couple of times. He's also run some really fast races. He's a little bit of a horse who maybe is hard to trust. I don't know what happened last time in the Hutch, Dan. This horse loomed at the top of the stretch like he had tons of horse. And then as soon as they asked him the question, he was completely empty. Irad was just holding him together through the stretch. It feels like something went wrong there. His form as a 2-year-old obviously makes him very tough in here.
Trainer Jeremiah O'Dwyer has been sending out some live horses at Pimlico over the last couple of days. 007 ships up from Maryland. We saw him chase the Wolfman 2 starts back, and here he is winning last time out, going 3/4 of a mile. Good solid effort. He was tracking a pretty sharp pace. He's right there on the outside. He's game to win it. Unfortunately for him, he came out of this race. He was entered again, listed as a vet scratch on April the 10th.
Yeah, I mean, again, I just felt like he was in tough here. I mean, he runs fine in this race that we're watching right now, Dan. I thought it was just sort of a more of a game win than anything else. It wasn't that impressive, but he got the job done.
American Gentleman, the number 5, claimed by Tally Lynch, 2 starts back for $40,000 after a gate-to-wire score. Source ran the turns very well at Aqueduct in those 2 races. He got away in both of those starts, but let's watch his first start against Winners. This is a race. I know he had to work hard the second quarter mile or so. He's got to win this at the 16th pole, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he does. He certainly felt like he was going to hold on, and then he just couldn't quite do it. Maybe the 7 furlongs ultimately was just too far for him. Dan, he does get to go 6 here. I don't know. I guess he'll show speed in this race. He has 1 start, that maiden win 2 starts back, where, you know, it came back a very fast race for the level. I guess if he runs that kind of figure, he's a contender.
Candyman Rocket, the horse to beat, the winner of the Grade 3 Sam F. Davis, 3 starts back. And he looked good that day, going a mile and a 16th, a distance that might be a little far for him, but the competition he faced in that race was suspect. He then laid an egg in the Tampa Bay Derby. And in the Wood Memorial, I was a bit surprised that Belmont decided to go there with him, showed some confidence. He was just up close to a very fast pace.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you could make an excuse for his last race if you wanted to. I think the reality is he just didn't run well in his last 2 starts, and maybe he just doesn't really want to go that far, Dan. When he broke his maiden going 6th, the last time they sprinted him, he was very impressive that day. I have no knocks on that race, and maybe this is just what he wants to do, and he's back in the right spot here. I mean, I suppose there has to be a chance that the 2 favorites in this race are just the 2 best horses and run 1-2, but how much do you trust either one of them?
And that's why I'm going to go against him. Let's take a look at our top picks in here. Candyman Rocket at a short price I'm going to try to beat. You are as well. Baron from the inside should show big speed.
Yeah, I like this horse's 2 races before they came for the base show. I think he has a big excuse last time. He's got the rail. He's got speed. I hope they send.
Wolfman really hasn't run a bad race at Laurel. The only time he was off the board was in the Heft. He didn't break well that day against some of the better 2-year-olds on the Mid-Atlantic circuit. What I like best about him is his tactical speed. I think he can work out a trip. If the 1 and 5 go, if Roderick goes, he can sit a nice spot in 4th, and we'll see what he does. He has to move forward, certainly from a buyer's standpoint, but it'll be an okay price. 13624 for Mike, 2543 for me, in the Gold Fever, your Sunday DRF race of the day. Best of luck.